survival instinct, they attacked others. So the second message is that we should never, as a society, we should never push our people to a point where they have to struggle for survival and they have to resort to our animal instinct as human beings to say either you or me. That was the second message for me. So I think we are confronted with the two tasks. One is whatever we do as civil society organizations, we have always to bear in mind that we have to support our people to have the minimum to live in dignity. Because that's what is going to allow them then to take up all the values which will allow them to think of a SADC identity. If people do not have food, basic food, if people do not have the basic in terms of shelter, etc., forget about identity. And you remember, some people who were killed, they were not even foreigners. They were South Africans. And they were confused with the foreigners because that was the sort of excuse. But no. Even South Africans were caught up in this thing. It is that level of taking people to such despair. So I want you to say to you, young people, most of you here, you are educated, you are talented, you are brilliant. You are brilliant. You have so many ideas. You are creative. Whatever you do, make sure that you contribute to give as much as people possible to live in dignity. And all the other values then will make sense to them. All the other values will make sense to them. Now, we are in Southern Africa, and as any sub-region of the continent, most of our people are young. In some of our countries, actually, you have something like 45% of the population are under 15 or under 25, etc., etc. There are certain countries which is even more than that. But when you have half of your population so young as we do have, I mean, the challenge of development, the challenge of providing those basic services I'm talking about, it's immense. But in our discussions, again, I'm coming to my generation, in our discussions, in our plans, and in our whatever, we say, yes, development, but then we say, oh yes, we need to have special programs for young people. And then you go and you squeeze to understand what are really, I mean, the resources which are allocated to development of young people. And you find that almost half of the people, of the population, is catered in a small portion of whatever are the resources available for the country. That's what we do. You just look at any government in Southern Africa, you'll find the same trend. So I want to talk to you and say, my history also says that things are never, important things which you want in life, they will never be given to you. You have to grab them. You really have to. At least this is the lesson of those who came before me, and that was also the lesson of my own generation. I told you that we fought for independence. I mean, it was quite almost suicidal, I mean, to say that we'll defeat those colonialists, etc., etc., etc. But we were quite clear, we have to grab it. There was no point where they were going to give it to us. What I'm saying is that these governments of this region are your governments, actually. So you are in a much better position than mine, because I was fighting against other governments. Now, you don't have to fight against, but you would really have to bring your governments to task to understand that not investing seriously in young people, it will never lead. It will never lead to sustainable societies. And these xenophobia things, oh, they will come back. They will come. They will come back. There's no doubt about it. They will come back. Actually, even this year, we did see a little bit of... so they are brewing. It's not a problem of 2 years ago. It's a problem which will continue to haunt us. So my message to you is that I know you have lots of civil society organizations. But you are not challenging enough. We don't hear very much your voice. We don't hear very much your voice. Maybe you discuss all these things in your organizations, you make resolutions, etc., etc. But you are not talking loud to tell us that these societies are not sustainable. They will become really a bombshell if we don't take seriously young people. So in other terms, I'm saying, in organized way as you are, in structured way as you are, but please, get our governments accountable to what exactly are doing about youth development. And when I say youth development, I'm not talking of employment. I'm saying development which will allow you to take up initiatives and you do your own, you start your own business. It has been proven. This capitalist stuff, wherever it is, at the end of the day, it produces unemployment. You go to developed countries, they are struggling also with unemployment. In our condition, it's going to be much more difficult for a government of whoever, to provide employment to you. What you need, it's education, it's skills development, and then take up whatever it's your initiative, but you have to create employment for yourself and you create employment for others. But don't expect someone to employ you. Because really, it's a dream. And with this crisis in which we are now, you read newspapers, you look, it's a thing which is not going to improve, it's going to get worse. But I want our young people to understand that when it's your right to demand, that you have to be educated, you have to have skills. Once you have skills, then it's your job to get a job, to employ yourself and to employ others, particularly those who did not have the opportunity to have skills development as you are. But please speak loud. And please force governments to take you seriously.